I'd like to welcome Lisa Anderson, who is another candidate for the Peters Township School Director. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to start by asking you what particular strengths or qualifications do you bring to the role of school director, or would you bring?
Well, for the past 12 years, I have been very involved in the school district, very involved in the PTA. I have an 11th grader and an 8th grader, and since my 11th grader was in kindergarten, I became very involved in the PTA. I've served a period of 10 years on a PTA board, 3 of them as president. And during that PTA activity, it's allowed me to get to know 4 out of the 5 buildings in the district, the administrators in those buildings, the central administrators, the teachers, the curriculum, the policies, the procedures. All of those things I think are important for a school board member to know. I also, for the past few years, have attended almost all the school board meetings and all the committee meetings, so I understand what the obligations are of a school board member, how they've run the school board, and what the issues are that they deal with. And lastly, I am an attorney. I worked and practiced for 10 years. I worked in a large law firm, and during that job, I had to analyze complex legal issues, research and synthesize a lot of data and information to reach conclusions. I also keep my continuing legal education classes up so that my license is current, and I've used some of those opportunities to take classes on school law. So I think all of those things would make me an excellent candidate for school board member.
Great. Do you have any particular concerns that are making you run for school board, or just your general strong interest in the school district?
I wouldn't say that there's a strong concern to make me run, other than my involvement has always been to make a difference in the school district. And I think that's a next step opportunity for me. The one concern that I think I have seen is that I am a person who works well with others. And I think we need to put more people on the board who are willing to work together for a common goal. Otherwise, I think it's not going to happen, and you're not going to make the right decisions if you're not willing to work with one another and leave your differences in the boardroom.
Good. What priorities would you have as a school board member?
Well, I think my top priority, and I think most people would agree, that in an educational institution, your primary focus has to be academics. And I am proud to say that I think we do a very good job of preparing our students for education after high school. But I do think that there's always room for improvement. I think that would be my highest priority. But I also think that there are budget issues that arise. The school board has increases in the amount of money that we are going to have to pay towards teacher pensions. And when you look at increases in 1 year of $600,000, you really have to think of unique ways in order to pay for that, instead of just thinking about trying to cut $600,000 from your budget or raise $600,000 from taxpayer money. Mm-hmm. In addition, the big priority for me is communication. I've made this a priority in my PTA operations. If anyone gets the high school PTSA email blast, that's something that I create each week to try and keep people informed. And I think the school board should do the same thing with issues and work that it's doing.
Great. How would you approach making funding decisions between academic matters and athletic matters?
Well, as I said before, I truly think that our job is to adequately educate our students. However, I don't think that that means that an academic expenditure would always be picked over, say, an athletic or arts or other extracurricular activities. I've gone to many college admissions presentations, and never once did those counselors say, I am looking for a straight A student. What they say is that they're looking for a student with strong grades and with a bunch of extracurricular activities. And I think it's the job of the school district to fund those extracurricular activities, whether they be athletics or the arts or other curricular activities. So what I see is the issue is having a long-term plan so that one isn't being spent on at the expense of another.
That's an interesting perspective. I'd like to ask you about the use of the Western Area Career and Technical Center. Do you think that there are more students who could be using that if they were encouraged by the school to do that, or the school district? Or do you think, because we don't send very many students there?
Right, I think I looked past my past notes, and I think we send between 14 or 16 students.
Which is not very many
no.
out of our district.
And I will say that as the editor of the email blast that the PTA sends out, I was trying to get some information because I know last year there was an IT night there, and it was very difficult to find any information on our website about it. I don't know how the school district notifies students who might have an interest in that. But absolutely, I think that not everyone is intended to go on to post-high school education in the traditional sense. I do know, though, that the statistic in our school is about 96% of our students go on to either a 4-year or 2-year institution. So to the extent that those students aren't thriving in the post-high school education, that's maybe where we should look at, is those students and trying to find those before they graduate.
What do you think the role of the school board should be in encouraging public input on decisions about either educational decisions about curriculum and such, or planning decisions about new schools or other large issues?
I think it should be a top priority.
You're talking about communication.
Each and every year, exactly. I think that we have a unique opportunity here in Peters Township because of the education that our community members have. Just because I might make it onto school board, that's 9 people. We are not going to be an expert on everything, but we have experts in the community that may have helped in certain situations that we're trying to solve. Why should we create our own wheel and not try and get those citizens on a citizen advisory board or something like that so we can tap on their expertise and their opinions? Similarly, I would love to do what some districts are having by having 1 or 2 student representatives from the high school be on the board, because they are living day in and day out our high school curriculum and following our high school policies. And I think that they could bring a wealth of information to the board.
And a different perspective.
Yes, the board should not make decisions solely based on what they are presented within that boardroom.
I want to save a minute for you now to tell the voters why they should vote for you.
Okay. Well, I will give you 100% effort in the job as a school board member, with no other goal or ulterior motive other than to make the district a better place. When you're deciding about who to vote for, I would please ask that you don't look at what a candidate says they'll do or what problems they find with the current administration, but look in their past and look for evidence to see what they've done in the past. Have they tried to make the district a better place? And I believe I've done that. And if you want to find out more about me, I have created a campaign website, and it's at voteforanderson.com. And I invite you to learn more about me, and I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.